Good evening. Something a little bit different tonight. Just doing a bit of play with the DSLR, and I'm not sure how the batteries are going to last. But we'll see how it goes. I've called it star hopping. It's not exactly star hopping. Just having a flick through what's above us, but we're using a colour camera this evening instead of the mono. So we'll just keep bringing up the stellarium and having a look round, see what we fancy landing on. But that on screen now is Cigar Galaxy, and I'm just having to play with the settings. As you can see on screen, just trying it out with a 60-second exposure using the same telescope, but this time the camera is the Canon 5D Mark II, as indicated by the top left hand corner. This is different software, so there's a slightly different look to the on-screen graphics. And basically all I wanted to do was get one of my older cameras out, give it a bit of an airing, and see how it performs. Because most of my work over the last year or so has just been with the mono camera. I thought I'd revisit a bit of colour. Here we go. Well, I think it's landed. Tweaking is slightly different as well with this software. Looks okay. Looks okay. Stars have got a slight blue tinge to the edge, so a little bit of tweaking is going to be needed in post-processing. Right, bring up stellarium. Let's have a look what else we can have a look at. Well, that's what we're currently looking at. Just there. This camera is not quite as sensitive towards the infrared range, so it won't pick up any of the hydrogen alpha, which is the red plumes going up and down through the centre of the galaxy on screen. But I suppose we can do a couple of different exposures and see what we can get. It's always something new. Right, I'll slide that out of the way. And as Right, that's a kettle underway. Mug of tea in a minute. See what this brings up. Not even bothered doing an alignment this evening. Just switched it on and used the alignment from last night. Ah, there we go. That's not too bad. There, Bode's Galaxy in all its glory. Going to need a bit of work to get it to look anything like, but for a quick 90-second exposure it's not too bad. You see the arms and the bright core in the centre. Reset that and have a look. As you can see, haze is the enemy again this evening. Just going to be one of those things at the minute. Fight the haze. Don't think it's really worth doing a longer exposure than 90 seconds. But give it a go, why not? Let's see if the stars were stretching at that. Your focus is a little bit out. Well, we'll let that run for 120 seconds or 2 minutes and we'll see what we got. The other thing to mention is the batteries in the camera. I'm not sure how long they last. Gave them a quick charge, so should get half an hour out of them at least. Evening, Chris. Something different tonight. Just checking my battery on my headset. Seems to be having battery issues all over tonight. Yep, different camera tonight. And slightly different setup. That what we're looking at now is a cluster of stars called M13. Or known as the Great Cluster in Hercules, globular cluster. Still a little bit of tweaking needed on the focus. Once I've got the focus nailed, I'll probably go and have a look at something a little more colourful. But this is just an ordinary digital SLR, the Canon camera. It gives quite a wide field compared to the monochrome camera that we were using the other evening. Focus the wrong way. Right, let me just have a look at Stellarium, see what I want to go and have a look at. What's got some colour this evening? Pinwheel Galaxy. Oh, I know what you might like. Something I showed you from my collection. Once we've got this focus sorted out, I'll show you. That's better. That's better. Focus is a lot better there. Right. Just go to, because I've not done a polar alignment, I'm just going to star hop my way across. What star hopping means, you pick a easily identifiable star close to the target you want, and then just hop closer to the target one star at a time. Each time you hop from one star to the next, synchronize the scope, and it makes it more and more accurate every single jump. Right, let's have a look on live view. Not quite on target. I think. There we go, that's my intended target. That's a little double star just there. I'll show you what I mean when I get it centralised. It's called Mizar. If you look to the top right of the screen, there's a zoom area where you can see clearly, well, clearer. Oops. Right, let me just synchronise that. Right. This will be a little bit different. Right, go back to imaging. I think it's set up for 30 seconds. Right. This is one I've not done live before. But it's one I showed you from my album yesterday, or last night. And I'm not even sure how it's going to appear on screen, to be honest. Yeah, it does a little bit. It helps improve the accuracy on go-tos. Right, here it comes. Let's see if I can reset it and drag it up a little bit. Just there. Right, I need to bring that little bit up to centre. So if I go back to the live view, that star's got to drop off screen up there. This is all down to knowing how your equipment works. Right, that bit there should be somewhere close to the centre. Yeah, this software that we're using right now, it's called Backyard EOS, top left hand corner, it tells you there. I think it's about £25. And I bought it many years ago, and they updated it beginning of the year, and it's been at least 14-15 months since I've used it, so I've had to do a whole lot of updating, and I've done a couple of installs of Windows 10 on this machine. It's a new setup, and it's, here we go. How does that look? Let's see if we can tweak that a bit for you. No, it's all manual. It's all manual. Right, let me just do a slightly longer exposure on this one. 60 seconds. If we get any decent detail, I might do a proper imaging run. And I've got some software I'd like to try called Live Stacker, and it will actually stack the images as they arrive. You just need to look into the settings, see where this is saved. The Whirlpool Galaxy. That's two galaxies merging into one. Normally quite colourful. And it's one that I would normally do with the filter wheel and the mono camera. Here we go. What does it look like? Right, a little bit more of a tweak. Right, go back to full frame. Yeah, it's the haze is fighting us back. Right, let me have a look at settings. And I will new folder, save. Right. That's the software I'm after. Right, just bear with me a few seconds. I am setting up this Deep Sky stacker. This has changed as well. Here we go. Right, just set that off to do 10 quick exposures, and that software you just saw me launching will stack these images live, and every time another image is added to the stack, the noise gets lower, well, the noise to signal ratio lowers, and it becomes clearer. So, and we're not tracking either, by the way. Just have a look at that. I'll just see if tracking happens tonight. Nope. Yeah. I don't think I should have switched tracking on because I've not set it all up. That's what happens when either tracking's bad or you've not got a very good polar alignment. There you go, that's one I had a look at earlier. Yes, I'll swing over to Alice later. I just thought I'd try this camera and software out. When I first switched everything on, it was really bad haze and I couldn't actually see it. See if it's at the beginning. There it is, look. That bit there. So the background noise was overpowering with this camera anyway. So the background haze was overpowering the actual image. That's a better shot. That's a better shot. Two will become one. I think it might drop that first image because of the movement. Let's have a look. No images stacked yet, so not be able to see anything. Right, I'll bring the software across because it's just stacked two images together. See how that's getting clearer with that has actually got, where are we? 7 images stacked together, that is. So you can see how taking multiple images of a target, stacking it together, can improve the signal to noise ratio. And that's included the one that was that had movement in it. Yeah, this one. The larger one's eating the small one. It's called the Whirlpool Galaxy. There you go. Starting to look a little bit better. I used to use this software that's showing you this galaxy now at star parties when I had people come round to the house. But that's stacked images that we've captured so far, and that's a single image. Now I've switched between them. you can see the noise, and now the noise is reducing. I've captured, say, 20 or 30 images. I think it's only at 30 seconds, these exposures. And then tweaked a little bit in Photoshop. You get quite a lot of detail out of it. And we have 11 minutes of exposure in that one image there. Look, tells you the details here. Look. Yep, that one's winding up and that one's unwinding. Should bring in a little bit more detail with every shot. Yeah, I should go back and remove that one that had movement on it, because you can see it's just creeping through. Tweak this a little bit, see if we can get any more. Yeah, like a big whirlpool in like the Severn Bore. It creates really strong eddy currents, and anything nearby gets dragged in round the edges and slowly crushed as it gets towards the middle. Yeah. For a consumer digital SLR, it doesn't do a bad job for astrophotography. I think this was one of the first times that I got a decent picture using this camera, because the first camera I ever used was a modified web camera. Took me a long time to find the adapter to make it fit onto the telescope. Right, how many images we've got left? Doing the last image now. I think what I'll do, I'll set it off to do another 10, and we'll see what sort of final image it can make, because if it does a decent job of it on that live software, when I do a proper stack later on to process it with a bit more detail, it should make an all-round better image. Right, let me just do. There we go. another 20 minutes worth. Yeah, that's right. Where you normally put your eyepiece to do visual work, you take the eyepiece out and there's an adapter that fits on the end of the Canon camera where the lenses go. You just remove the lens altogether, fit this adapter that's just a hollow ring that fits inside the eyepiece aperture, and it just clamps in like an eyepiece, and it focuses just like an ordinary eyepiece, except that I've got a button on my desk here that I can focus it with. Here we go, here comes another one for the stack. It's actually not turning out too bad. The colour balance is a little bit off, but for live stacking software it's not doing too bad. With a few more images stacked on there, the noise will reduce even more, and we should start picking out a little bit more detail. These sliders just up here on the right hand side do a similar job to the histogram that we were using the other evening. And because this is a colour camera, it's not quite as sensitive or as high detailed as that mono camera we had the other evening. No, when I bought the telescope and mount, it came as a package. I think I paid a couple of £1,000 for the package itself, and I used to set it up on a tripod on the back garden every evening, and it used to take about an hour and a quarter to set up and about 40 minutes to put away. So I was spending most of the night setting it up and taking it down. So what I did, I started designing myself a little observatory, but the mount has the ability to connect to a computer via a little USB adapter. So you plug the USB adapter into the mount and run this EQ mod software, on your computer, and this gives you all the control you need of the mount, and it's the mount that moves the scope around to point it at different targets. And this software talks to this software, which talks to the mount. So whatever I point at on this comes through on the screen as an image. So these three, and it's all free software. This is free, this is free, even this is free, I do believe. So all this software is free to connect your computer to the mount to the telescope. It's just being absolutely lazy. The only bit of software that's worth paying for is Photoshop, but you could always use the free software called GIMP. That's really coming together nicely, that, bringing in quite a lot of detail. Yes, it is. It's a learning curve when you first put it all together. And when I first set it all up on the tripod, I had a small laptop and I was sat outside on the garden in the summer. I got it all connected, polar aligned. Polar alignment used to be a pain in the kneecaps because you had to kneel down and look up through a polar scope. I've even got a lazy solution for that as well nowadays. So yeah, you used to connect it through a laptop, and with the first camera, that webcam that I modified, I connected the web camera to the laptop. Didn't need any drivers whatsoever, just come up as webcam detected, and you got a live view through a webcam. And that's how I first started doing planetary work, because the webcam couldn't do long exposures to get things like this. But it was absolutely awesome on Jupiter, Saturn. I didn't do Venus to start with because I wasn't completely comfortable and knowledgeable about setting it all up for tracking in daylight, because most of the images I've done of Venus were done in the daylight, mainly in the afternoons. But yeah, there's a little bit of colour coming through on here, and for free software it's not doing a bad job. Tweak it a little bit down here. That's not bad at all, that. Yes, it was surprisingly easy after I got past the first 3-4 setups with the laptop, and after about a year and a half of setting it up in the evening for an hour, I could set it up in 40 minutes after I got good, and take it down in about 15. But to start with, it's about an hour and a quarter to set it up and about 40 minutes to take it down. After a while I thought there's got to be a better way, and that's when I designed and built the little observatory, which makes setting up really quick. From start to finish, from walking into my little room where I'm sat now, switching on the computers, unlocking the observatory, switching the power on, plugging the camera in and coming back in here to sit down, 6 minutes, and I could be looking at a screen like this in 6 minutes. It used to be very time consuming setting it up on a tripod, but like I say now, 6 minutes. I can get it all up and running before the kettle boils, if there's something good out there. And that's what a single frame looks like compared to that one. As I said on the last stream, lazy gazing at its finest. I already had this camera, so it didn't actually cost me anything to get this quality of image. Just the time to get it all connected and work out how it all went together. Yeah, it's not too bad. The trouble is it doesn't discriminate between images, because some of the images, if there was a bit of wind, a bit of breeze, it doesn't remove them from the collection. It just stacks them anyway. So that last one that just came in, there's movement on it, look. I'll go back to that one. You see movement on it, so there must have been just a little gust of wind that caused that. So the software didn't discriminate, it just stacked it regardless, and that can spoil the image somewhat. But later on, when I do the proper stack, I can remove those from the list and just use the good ones. No, for doing the moon, when I do the moon tour, I've got a camera, it's a QHY 135E planetary camera, and it's really tight zoom. And then on top of that, I've got a 2 power, a 3 power and a 5 power Barlow that I can attach to it. So it effectively turns the 1500mm focal length to either 3000mm, 4500mm or 7500mm, which gets you really up close and personal with the craters on the moon. So when I say you can look inside a crater that's inside a crater that's inside a crater, you really do get that close. If you think of the sensor size for this camera that we're using tonight, the diagonal is about 37mm from corner to corner. On a planetary camera, corner to corner is about 7mm. Was it 6.2? 6.2 or 7mm corner to corner. So all that data is concentrated in a lot smaller area, so the magnification factor is quite a lot higher. What I'll do when we do a moon tour is I'll drop a link in the chat so everybody can get a moon map, and you can bring it up on your screen as I go around. And if there's a particular part of the moon you want me to skip over and have a look at, you can give me the coordinates and I'll send the camera over and we'll have a look. Which will be, I'll explain how to do it on the evening, and it's a lot easier than what you might think. Seven more images, and then perhaps go and have a look at a different target. While that's going off, I'll just have a look what's nearby. It's got to be reasonably bright target. just so we don't have to set up tracking and everything, guiding. Plenty of clusters around. Trying to find something with some colour in it. A group of 3 galaxies, the Leo triplet. We'll see if see what that one looks like. No, I've been pottering about the house a little bit. I'm trying to get back to work on a Friday, and I'm still feeling quite under par. So I've been trying to build up a little bit of energy, and I'm getting knackered and just doing nothing at the minute. What we got? 5 more images. Did I show you the blood moon images I've taken with this camera, with just a 200mm lens on it? I think they were in that photo collection. There you go, look. That was the blood moon with a handheld camera. So that was a while ago. And it was that red. It was that red. Looks like I've tweaked all the colours, but no, that was what it looked like. You can see how the sensor's warming up. It's at 24 degrees. If I could drop the temperature on that sensor down to the temperatures of the one that I was using yesterday, that's another one that dragged, moved a little bit. There's a slight breeze outside every now and then, and it just wobbles the scope somewhat, and you get stretch stars like that. And it spoils the image, but for the free stacking software, it's not too bad. That's not looking too bad at all, that. Well, it's not even a astronomy camera, it's just an everyday digital SLR. Something that you might take on your holidays. It's not sensitive in the infrared range, which gives you all the reds and the pinks, because the camera's got a built-in infrared filter right on top of the sensor, so it blocks out a lot of the light data that astronomers strive to collect. Yeah, one more image after this, and might go and find another target. I'll go to the battery runs out, I think. Could do with getting to bed early for a change. This wasn't intended to be a stream tonight. I just did it just for testing purposes, to see if it works with this camera as well as the other one. For that, did you see that portable setup of mine that I showed on screen yesterday? That small scope on the tripod. Something like that, brand new, is about $400, £400. And if you've already got a camera and a laptop, you could be up and running, literally with images of this quality, if not better, for about £450 if you had to buy the USB cable adapter. Yep, that's the last image, last exposure. Right, I'm moving telescope over to completely opposite side of the sky, so it might not necessarily find the target straight away. Especially with the fact that I didn't do an alignment this evening. Right, let's have a look what it's going to tell us. See if we're anywhere near the targets I wanted to have a look at. that could be one just up there. So if I go back to live view, I'm not even sure if all these three galaxies will fit on one screen. Oh, it's a Skywatcher 150 PDS. Ah, all three. 1, 2, 3. Right, just to line these up a little bit. I'll see if I can. I'll give me a second, and I'll see if I can find it for you. There you go. Have a look on that link. That's the lightweight mount, the lightweight tripod one. That's not the motorized mount. That's a manual tracking mount. So that's the basic. Here we go. I think I found. That one there, that last link I've dropped in for you. That one's computer controlled. If you've got a laptop, you can plug it into your laptop and do exactly what I'm doing this evening. And if I find you the picture of my portable one, and you can compare it to that. Which I can't put my fingers on right now. There you go. That's my portable one that plugs into a laptop. That's the one I take camping with me. So it's a pretty good kit. It's great for camping, absolutely awesome for camping, even if you don't use the camera. Once you just set the tripod up so it's orientated north-south, and use your laptop to find your targets, you can just stand up and look through the eyepiece and see a lot of the things that we're seeing this evening. And you can see my big telescope in the background there, look. That's what I'm using this evening. So they're two of my setups. I've also got a couple of other scopes, but right. Let's have a look, see what we've got on here again, see if we can find this other target. This is supposed to be called the Leo triplet. And there's supposed to be 3 galaxies within sight of each other, but I'm not sure if my field of view is going to be wide enough to pick them all up. I'm not sure. Some of the newer mounts will do. Just plug a Wi-Fi adapter into the socket where you put the USB dongle in, and I think you can control it that way. Leo constellation, that's right. I think. Trying to find the third of the galaxies. The third one from the triplet. might be there. Right, let's go take a slightly longer exposure. We'll see what this one looks like when it starts. Yeah, part of the Leo constellation. Called the Leo triplet. Yeah, the battery's dropped down one notch, so it's not doing too bad. Yeah, one there, two there. I could possibly bring it down a little bit. And then what I'll do, leave it at 60-second exposures. And we'll see what they look like stacked up in that stacking software. See if that looks like a decent image. Yeah, there's the other. That's the other galaxy, End-On Galaxy. And as usual, we're fighting against the haze and movement. Yeah, the stars were a mystery to a lot. The few that decided to study and gain the knowledge became mariners and navigators. Magellan, for one, he was really into positions and geometry and mathematics. Once he started watching the stars, he learned a lot about positioning. I think the Magellan GPS system uses his name. But yeah, the stars hold a lot of secrets, and still do apparently. I'm feeling really under the weather tonight. Yeah, yeah. The skies in them days, there was no electric lights. I think the most polluting thing was the campfire, and oil lamps, smoky oil lamps. But now there's more light pollution about around where I am. I was nearly ready for throwing the towel in for this astronomy lark till I got that little telescope and became portable. And the setup time now, if it wasn't for the speed of setting it all up, I wouldn't have bothered doing it from home and just do it 2 or 3 times a year when camping. But the benefits of having a little green shed in the back garden. Right, let's have a look what this is going to do with it. Yeah, this is great for star parties, this is. I had a very early version of this a few years ago. Not bad for a first effort. Yeah, movement is going to look awful, this one. there is a scope, about £4,000 though. You literally, you carry it in a rucksack. You literally just put it on the ground, switch it on, and it will look up into the sky, sort itself out, work out exactly where it is, automatically focus, and you connect to it with your phone, tell it what you want to look at, it will swing over, find it and photograph it for you, save all the images on a memory stick. I'll see if I can find it for you. About £4,000 though, so it's a little bit on the expensive side, but it does absolutely everything you want. I think it's called Stellina. Here we go. That's even more lazy gazing than what I do here. It fits in a backpack. Let's see if I can find a review of it for you. Have a look at that. I think you'll be quite impressed with that. I think something's gone off with the scope. I think it's drifting or something. Battery's gone dead, disconnected. Right. Yeah, I think the battery's just died on the camera, and the software doesn't know it's disconnected yet. Yeah, you look at that review that I've just linked to you, that last review, and I think you'd be quite impressed with what it does. I was actually shocked about how good it was. Galactic Hunters, they are a couple in Denmark, I think, Europe somewhere in Europe, and they're a lovely couple, and they go out. They started out just like me with a small scope and a digital SLR. So yeah, it's worth having a look at them. Yeah, I think this software's crashed. The battery's gone flat on the camera because the camera's not listed up there anymore. And it's just decided to stop working, and we've got a lot of drift on there. So I am going to call it a night at that. I'm a little bit tired. Okay then, mate. I'm a little bit tired. I've had quite a few late nights, and been up really early trying to get a bit of fitness back. I've had a horrible cold. If the skies are more conventional tomorrow night, I might have another go at the Comet, see if we can catch a little bit more detail as it's breaking up. And I'll fit the original camera, the mono camera. It's a bit more sensitive to that sort of target. Pardon me. So yeah, have a watch of those videos. It's a really nice scope, and it's really capable, and it's the ultimate lazy astronomer. Tell me what you think tomorrow. Tell me what you think. And I think the International Astronomy Show will be held at Stoneleigh in Coventry in October, if it goes ahead, and they'll have them there. I'll be going to that one if it's on. So if you want, you could perhaps come up there, and we'll have a meet up, and perhaps go for a pint if you're interested in that. I think it's about £3.50 on door to get in, and you get to see lots of great kit, and a couple of close personal friends will be doing lectures, so we might get a bit of information from a couple of friends as they do their talks on astrophotography. Right, I'm going to call it tonight at that, and I'm going to go get some proper shut-eye.